I'll give you a rundown on the cords. So I've already got my button throttle installed. Here it is. It's just one screw that kind of clamps it to the handlebar. And then one cord. I used a Velcro there. Bring it down. Used a Velcro there. Pull it tight. Velcro. And then to take up the extra slack, I wrapped it around the seat post area. And then I just leave the other end with the male part of the RCA cable dangling. And then you can see I've already got my hose clamp in my reserve spot that I know works. So I'm just going to leave it there and install the booster pack from there. Install this booster pack on there for the first time. Now I know what's going to happen is that we didn't, so I'll just slide it on there first. We never adjusted the clamp for the right diameter of the tube. So it's very unlikely that it's going to fit perfectly the first time. Okay, so I need a little more. The far side of this clamp is too tight, so it's not clamping evenly. What you want to have happen is when you tighten this all the way down, that this face and that face are parallel so that it's clamping evenly. So what I'll do is I'll crank it a half turns. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get myself more slack. So I want to. There. That's what I want to do. I want to do that. I'm trying to unscrew it. I think I did the opposite of what I wanted to do, but you get the idea. I'm pushing it out, popping it back in, or turning it, then popping it in, and then turning it so I can change where that is on the shaft. I got the clamp adjusted to go around this diameter of tube. I'm installing it so that my brake line goes in this little gap here, so you're not pinching it. Or actually, that's a gear shifter, gear shifting line. And then notice I never did tighten this down, so I can kind of adjust it. But in this configuration, you don't really need to. It's kind of you can find your happy spot around your water bottle holder there. There. So I was hitting. Might want to watch that too. I was hitting this face of my hose clamp, so it might be better to put it so it lands in between this gap, and that you always land on the business part of it there. Looking at it from the back side. Now I'm going to adjust the two set screws so that it can't do that. That would lock everything up. It can ride too far. So first I'm going to adjust this set screw. So after I get to a point, well, I'm already there. You'll see as I screw it in, the motor comes up closer to the tire. So I'm adjusting its default sitting position here. And I want to get to maybe 1/8 to a 1/16 inch away from the tire, so it doesn't have to throw very far, but so that it never accidentally hits it, so that it certainly does not hit it if it is not spinning. That's the idea. So it's free. Like right now, it's free. The spring actually happens to be throwing it the right way, and now I need to adjust it so it can never go over center like that. So I'm going to the bottom set screw, and I'm going to tighten it up. Now the idea is, you imagine a line. Let's freehand it here. Imagine a line between the motor hinge, the motor center, and the center of the tire. You never want the center of the motor to go past the line between that hinge point and the center of the tire, because if it does, it won't come back down. The spring won't be able to pull it back down, and the tire will keep throwing it up there. So yeah, God, I said that more confusing than it should have been. So a line from here to the center of that pin. The center of that should never cross it. When it does dig in, you want it to be digging in by maybe a 1/16 of an inch or so. You're going to have to feel that one out to make and test it to make sure that your motor isn't overly strained when it's driving. The thing that's adjustable is how much force there is to return the motor. So right now it's actually, I probably could use a little bit more force swinging it back. Otherwise, if you hit a bump, it could adjust the motor out there. And let me see. So I've just loosened these two screws, and now this is free, and the spring can do nothing. But if I want to get more tension, kind of find its neutral spot, bring it over here, and then lock it down. Now it's on there, and the farther you rotate it before you lock it down, the more force the spring will have on the motor to get it to return. There. And that one can be kind of tricky to reach. The other thing is that I've only got it in this one configuration for the video, but the other two parts that were left over, if you wanted to reconfigure it, you could clamp onto the seat post up here. You have to take off your little blinker or whatever if you have anything up there, and then you turn the whole device around. Your multi-tool here to store on the front, you need to put it on the head of the bolt and then kind of turn it a little bit. I've already done it so that the two bolt heads are kind of oriented to align with these two hex patterns, so they're parallel there. And you'll want to kind of smash it through a couple times to make sure that the hole is actually clean enough to receive the head of the bolt. So there's a little bit of powder on there because it cleaned itself out, and now you should be able to wrestle it on there. It'll wear in over time. Well, let's fire it up. Oops. Sorry about that. So I've got my crud RCA cable on the wrong end of the booster pack. You want to come out the same end that you're wherever you attach to the frame. So I am going to cheat and just steal some of this cord just for the sake of illustration. Put it down there. Here we go, and I'll turn it on. Here we go. I don't know what the hell I've got going on there. So obviously I need to recalibrate my start button. So this is a good time to do that. I'll show you how to calibrate the throttle. So on the bottom side, zoom in here. Here's your on-off switch. The controller also has, there you can see it, a set button. So now I've got my RCA cable coming out the correct end. I'll put it on. There we go. Oops, gotta plug my battery in. Now I'm plugging my RCA throttle cable in on the other side. Now, let's see if you can get it in here. Get it in focus. To calibrate your throttle, you hold the set button while turning it on. Hold it in, flip the switch. Then you let it go, and you hold your throttle up here down until it beeps once. And then you let it go, and you press the throttle once. And now it beeps twice, and then you do nothing, and it'll beep it. It beeps 3 times. And now you turn it off. And when you turn it back on, and from every time thereafter, it'll remember those settings. So we'll do that again. I guess you could just hit replay, so I don't need to do it again. And that's what it does whenever you turn it on under normal circumstances. It kind of like does a motor check, and it kind of spins it lightly. Now we should be calibrated, so holding down the throttle button throws it into gear, and as soon as you let go, it lets off. That's it. We're set. Ready for a ride. As you can imagine, this is really difficult to do while riding.